Firstly, I don't make love. I fuck. Hard. Secondly, there's a lot more paperwork to do. And thirdly, you don't yet know what you're in for. You could still run for the hills. Come, I want to show you my playroom. That was an extract from the book 50 Shades of Grey by author E.L. James. My name is David Corkery. I'm here with my wife, Cathy.
Hello.
We are doing a Cinemile. It's a very special Valentine's episode of the Cinemile. We are not walking anywhere. We are in our living room, which we have decorated very much like the Red Room in 50 Shades of Grey. We have, I guess you want to describe maybe what we're saying here. We've got a sex swing in the corner there. There's whips everywhere. It's very sensual.
We painted it red.
Yeah, that took ages.
It
took ages to paint our whole house red, but we did it. And as you can tell, we've got a crowd here today for the first time ever. This is the most guests we've ever had in a room together. So, in order of the people I'm looking at, we have Tessa, Ash, Jacqui, Catherine, and Gill. Say hello, everyone, in unison.
Hello. And Tessa's returning guest. You may remember her from Lion Review.
Yes. And if you haven't heard that review, go listen to that. Tessa, unable to cry. But
well, I mean, this movie might put me to the test.
This might make you cry. So firstly, I guess hands up who has read at any of these books. We've got three hands. So that's four hands.
Out of 6.
Did you just read the book? Just now? You went from no hand to...
Well, I only read the first one, so I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, I've only read the
first one.
Yeah, that counts.
First. Oh,
I think it's enough.
Okay.
I think
We've
that's
all
as
read
much
the
as
first
anyone
one.
should read.
We've all read the first one, but our friend Anna, who comes later, has read all of them.
As in she is arriving
She's
later
arriving later.
for the podcast. Let's
Dave.
just be clear.
Yeah.
It's all bets are off.
On
This
the
is
basis of that line you just read, I'm glad I haven't read either.
I
Good,
agree.
yeah.
I second that.
Has anyone seen the movies that hasn't read the books?
I saw the posters on the buses in Dublin when the first one came out.
Oh, you were in Dublin.
I was.
Oh,
yes, it was a
Jamie
national
Dornan's.
holiday. Exactly.
No, well, he's from Belfast, isn't he?
Oh,
What,
well,
and
just
so,
the
what
same.
was the reaction in Ireland? We
They
should
all,
be knowing.
They
we should
were
know
all in the streets dancing and singing.
yeah. Sounds about right. Yeah. Okay, well, I haven't seen the first one either or read any of the books. I don't know anything about this, but I have been researching random quotes from this as the one I read out. So I'm just going to read out another one. I'm just going to periodically read out quotes from this because they're amazing. I presume this is, what's the character's name? Anastasia Steele? Anastasia Steele? Okay, right.
I don't even remember it.
I think this is her. Now I know what all the fuss is about. 2 orgasms. Coming apart at the seams, like the spin cycle on a washing machine. Wow.
Sexy.
Private eye.
It's very erotic. Very erotic. This
Oh,
book.
washing machines. Yeah.
Okay, so I've also prepared. We've got some trivia. So I'm going to give each of you a question, and then it's going to be followed up by a game we're calling Billionaire, Playboy, Snog, Marry, or Avoid. So, is everyone familiar with the rules for Snog, Marry, Avoid?
Yes.
If you aren't, so we're going to give you 3 names. You have to choose which of them you would snog, which of them you would marry, and which one you would avoid.
And you have to pick one for each. You can't avoid all of them.
That is the only rule. And the safe word is. Okay, so we'll start with you. We'll start with you, Tessa. Okay. Can you name all 50 Shades of Grey?
Grey.
Correct. That is the correct answer. It's just grey 50 times. All right, your Billionaire, Playboy is for Snog, Marry, Avoid. You've got Christian Grey,
Yep.
Tony Stark,
Ooh.
or Richard Gere from Pretty Woman.
Oh.
Now think long and hard about it. They all have a lot of money. I haven't ranked them by net worth, but perhaps I should have.
Oh, see, I can't. I want to distance Jamie Dornan from Christian Grey,
No,
which
you
is
can't.
very
No,
hard.
this is Christian Grey.
Okay.
Jamie Dornan is
Well, I
not
would
a
avoid
Billionaire,
him because
Playboy.
he's completely uninteresting.
Okay.
I would Snog Tony Stark, and I would marry Richard Gere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, consensus in the room?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, can I just say that me and Dave put this list together, and Dave only thought of Tony Stark and Batman, and I thought of all the rest of them.
They're the only billionaires I know.
Batman.
Yeah.
No, you don't get Batman.
Someone else gets Batman.
Right, Ash next.
Okay, Ash. Okay. Ash, how many items in the red room can you name?
Remember, it's all around you.
Just look around the room.
I'll just name the items I see in front of me.
They're gummy bears.
I don't know. I have these kind of like
Lollipops.
awkward memories of the film where we were kind of laughing and cringing at the same time.
Mostly cringing.
I think there were a lot of whips. There was a swing.
For sure.
And hooks. I don't know. I don't know.
It's almost like you're reliving traumatic memories. You're still in therapy.
Well, I am on a couch, so.
Okay, well, I didn't actually verify whether any of these answers were correct, but that sounds about right to me. And your Snog, Marry or Avoid, Ash, is Christian Grey,
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Robert Redford from Indecent Proposal. So it's the movie where he offers Demi Moore £1 million or dollars to sleep with him. Or King Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Okay,
Well,
this
that's
is
a
probably
toughie.
a bad time to admit that I've not watched Game of Thrones.
Oh, well, he's pretty horrible. He's a nasty little
He's
Yeah.
a
Okay,
Yeah.
He's a king, though.
so I'll avoid him based on that crowd reaction.
Twice.
I will therefore snog Christian Grey and marry Richard Gere.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no,
Robert Redford.
Oh, Robert
Oh,
Redford.
you can't all pick Richard
Wait,
Gere.
sorry, Robert Redford.
The whole room just wants to marry Richard Gere. It's becoming very clear.
No, true.
Yeah, no.
Okay, Jacqui.
Okay.
All right, you're up.
Also, we have to say that our first three guests are all Australian, which is a complete coincidence.
Yeah, it gets less Australian after Jacqui. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to swing over to the United States and then do a tour of Ireland and then we're done.
Yeah.
No English people in the room, but Anna will be representing later. Okay, Jacqui. Can you name Christian Grey's helicopter? He's got a name for his helicopter.
Well, as I haven't read the books and I haven't seen the movie,
Pretty good
I have
guess.
absolutely no idea.
Would you like to take a wild guess?
Oh.
I'll give you a clue. It's two names. The first name is a boy's name, and the second name is the name of a refreshing orange drink available in the UK. Yeah, you've got it.
Tango.
Yeah,
Tommy Tango.
It's not Tommy Tango, Jill, but it's a good guess.
So does that mean it's something to do with like the alphabet?
Yes, correct.
Aha. So what's a
I'll give you a hint. C.
Oh, Charlie.
It's Charlie Tango.
Yeah,
Charlie Tango is the name of Christian Grey's
that's a
helicopter.
great name.
Which I'm very excited to see in this
Yes.
movie we're about to see. I forgot to mention we are going to see the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not just all hanging out here
Having
having fun.
Except Catherine, who is refusing to see the movie, has just come down for the party.
Yes.
She's gonna leave.
Which is, I think, the wise move.
I'm the non-viewing participant.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
have to have
exactly.
one of these.
And we all
Yes.
will
I think
wish
I'm going
that
to set
you
a precedent,
have their-
actually.
You're
for
the
all
voice
time.
of reason.
Yeah.
Okay, and Jacqui, your Snog, Marry or Avoid question is: you have Christian Grey, Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or Prince Charming from Cinderella.
Oh, Jesus. Seriously? Wow.
No one said this would be easy.
Okay. So. I'd love to avoid them all, but
Only it were that easy.
yeah. Well. Oh, seriously, I wouldn't want to marry any of them.
Uncle Phil's nice.
Yeah.
Heavy P's a solid guy.
Yeah.
That's what Will Smith used to call him.
Oh.
Yeah. No, because he's too superficial. He's a wanker. So I'd have to say I'd avoid him.
You're avoiding Uncle Phil?
No, Prince Charming.
Oh, you're avoiding Prince Charming. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'll marry Uncle Phil,
Okay, I think that's wise.
and then I'll
You
snog,
snog Christian Grey. Okay, I think is there a consensus in the room?
Yeah.
I think we'd probably all do that, myself included. Okay, Catherine.
Okay.
Now you haven't read the book or seen the movie.
And you're not going to see the
Yeah, this is the second or third time we've established that.
Just being very, very clear.
Okay. All right, so I have no hope of getting this right.
Absolutely not,
Okay.
because the question is,
Give her one
Yes.
she knows the characters of, though.
you're okay. I'll give you a different one. I'll give you one you might know the answer to. Okay,
Oh, okay.
true or false? So you have a 50%
50-50,
chance already. Yeah.
Of course, we know how that went for the election. But anyway.
I was wondering if the election would come up.
Oh no, it's not going to come up anymore. Yeah.
No, we're in a safe room here.
Okay.
This is a red room. There is no election.
Okay.
Okay, Catherine. E.L. James was named as one of Time magazine's most influential people in the world. True or false?
Wow, it's radio podcasts aren't good for pregnant pauses, are they?
That's good radio.
Let's see. I'm going to say true.
It is true. 2012, she was voted in the top 100 most influential people in the world.
Well, it makes sense.
What's the prize I get?
You get to answer this question.
Oh.
You have a snog, marry or avoid, and your options are Christian Grey.
Okay, and we've established I haven't read the book.
And
No.
everyone's not
Yeah,
saying.
No.
okay, fine.
He's a dude. I guess, who is Christian Grey? He's a billionaire,
He's the guy who has
playboy.
a helicopter named
I mean,
Charlie
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Well,
I
on
mean,
the
what more do
basis
you
of
need?
that. Right.
I've seen
And he
the
likes
movie and read
S&M.
the book, and I really can't tell you much more than that.
Lots of paperwork. There's always paperwork.
He's-
Yeah, he likes the paperwork, and he
Probably
doesn't
the
make
most
love.
interesting character.
Yeah.
That was the one he was doing.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you have Christian Grey.
Okay.
You have the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Which I've never seen.
Famous. He's an actual beast.
Okay.
But he's rich.
But he's rich, and he has his own castle.
Also,
Yeah.
excuse
He's
me,
a nice
excuse
guy.
me.
Nice
He's
guy.
probably the hottest Disney prince when he transforms into a
This is
prince.
true,
I would
yeah.
argue.
Okay.
He turns into a prince.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
spoiler
got-
alert.
Am
Am
I-
I?
And he's
Right,
got
right.
more
Picking
substance
the
than
prince or the
Charming.
beast.
You are good question.
But
Good
if
good
If
question.
you fall in love with him, he turns into a prince.
Oh, I see.
That's only if you marry him, not if you snog him.
Yeah.
And if you avoid him, he'll be a beast forever.
This is
Yeah.
more complicated than all the others. you
There's many
Yeah.
layers to this
Okay.
one. And the last one is a little more simple. Rupert Murdoch.
Oh, okay, that's easy.
Okay.
Rupert Murdoch, I would avoid.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay.
Twice.
Then I suppose. Wait, who was the first?
The first one was Christian
Oh,
Grey
okay.
from 50 Shades of Grey.
Well, okay. I think I would marry the beast. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Good
then,
choice.
Yeah. that's
and
why.
then abstain from.
No, you can't.
No, you
I
gotta
know.
snog that guy in his helicopter.
He looks like Jamie Dornan.
He's
It's not
beautiful.
awful.
Okay, in his helicopter, sure.
Yeah.
Only in his
Good
helicopter.
decision.
Okay, that's good. Okay, Jill, are you ready?
Our other Irish guest. Our only Irish guest.
Yay.
Jill, in 50 Shades of Grey, what is the safe word?
Oh.
She was like, right.
Let me rack my brain.
Oh, I don't remember. I think it's a color.
It's pineapple or
It is a
something.
colour.
Oh.
It is not pineapple.
Is it a shade of grey?
It is not a shade of grey.
Purple?
It's not purple. It's red.
Oh. Oh, red in the red.
Yeah.
Makes
And
sense.
Jill, your snog, marry or avoid
Yes.
in this order: Christian Grey,
Surprising.
Bruce Wayne, or Tintin.
Batman.
Now, in fairness, I think I got the easiest one there. So I'm going to avoid Tintin. Sorry.
Because he's a child.
Yeah, it's probably statutory. Grey.
Snog Christian Grey and marry Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bruce
Yeah,
Wayne's
but-
emotionally repressed.
Yeah, Bruce
Oh,
Wayne's
but he's
pretty
got a-
dark guy.
No, but he's
But
got
he's
a heart of
Batman,
gold.
you guys.
Yeah.
Come
And he's
on.
Batman.
He's not Batman. That's a secret identity. He'll never let you let in that he's Batman.
But he cares for the woman he loves.
Yeah.
Does he though? They all die and they're gone by the they're gone by the next movie.
That's true.
Okay, Cathy.
On
Yeah.
the subject of romance, though, and of Rupert
Oh,
Murdoch.
this has nothing to do with
Oh,
romance.
no, but well, sorry. So, did Rupert Murdoch marry Jerry Hall?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
They are married. So, are they living over like
Let's
here?
hope so. I want to
Couple
see
of
it.
blocks away?
Yes.
Her house is just up the road from ours.
Oh, I thought she moved out of that.
But I
No, because Rupert Murdoch bought it.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah, that was the deal. He had to buy.
That's 50 Shades of Blue.
Yeah.
And that's our local gossip corner. We live near Jerry Hall.
We might walk by them on the way to the cinema.
We just
They
might.
might be in the cinema if we're lucky.
Keep your eyes
Oh my
out.
god, that would be the great.
Imagine.
He's too old to go to the cinema.
Be sitting in front of us.
He's so old. Could he even walk? What age is he?
He's in his 80s.
He's in his 80s, but I think he can walk.
Yeah. Okay.
He could walk down the aisle.
Does he listen to this podcast?
Yeah, he's one of our listeners.
Yeah.
He writes in regularly.
Well, he can confirm his age.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rupert. Just send us in your age whenever you can. Okay, Cathy, you are last. Okay, question is: E.L. James originally adapted 50 Shades of Grey from fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
It was Twilight fan fiction. But what was the name of that fan fiction?
Oh, was it not called 50 Shades of Grey?
It wasn't.
Do I get a hint?
It's also the name of a famous movie with He-Man in it, starring Dolph Lundgren.
He-Man is in it.
He-Man is
Masters of the Universe.
Yes, it's Master of the Universe. That's the name of her
So
original
weird.
book.
Because I was thinking she was so clever to come up with 50 Shades of Grey.
we're getting
Oh,
another
there's
guest.
Anna.
Is that Anna? Okay, she can
Yay.
join us. She can join us for that. I've got another last question for her.
For me, you mean?
No, Anna has got one as well.
okay.
I've got a backup question. Okay, Cathy, your Snog, Marry or Avoid is Christian Grey,
Yeah.
Prince Harry, or Mr. Burns.
Marry Mr. Burns because he's rich and old.
Oh no.
Avoid Harry because I don't like royalty. And Snog Christian Grey.
Okay, very clear. You knew these answers in advance. So
No,
you've been
I
thinking
didn't.
about
I
this for
meant
hours.
one of you guys to get Harry because everyone fancies him.
Okay, gotcha.
We were going to do William and then we thought no one fancies William.
And we have our final guest. Our final guest is here.
Anna,
Anna, welcome. You are now on the podcast.
live on the podcast.
Take a seat. Before you get comfortable, I'm going to ask you a 50 Shades of Grey trivia question. Okay? Are you ready?
Psyched.
What is E.L. James's actual name?
Is it Erica something?
Yes, it is Erica something.
James?
It's not. It's Erica Mitchell.
Oh.
But you get a half point. So
Excellent.
well done.
Oh, this one.
There's some drink selection going on here. Okay, and lastly, Anna, do you know the game Snog, Marry, Avoid?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. We are playing Billionaire, Playboy, Snog, Marry, or Avoid. Okay.
You actually came in just on your round.
Your options are Christian Grey, Eddie Murphy from Coming to America.
I don't know who that is.
He was a very rich African king who came to America.
Okay.
Or Richard Branson.
She looks horrified.
Okay, so this is Snog, Marry,
Or Avoid.
Avoid, the tamer version.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'd avoid Richard Branson.
Ooh.
Okay.
He's older than my dad.
But he's
Sure.
pretty rich.
Think
Which
about
doesn't
those
count for
vacations on
everything.
Necker Island.
Island, I don't know.
Snog and Marry.
He's the one I would marry.
I'd probably marry a king. And
Yeah.
I'd snog, Christian.
I think that's a wise choice.
Yeah.
And it's Eddie Murphy, right?
I think everyone is snobbed
Snog
Christian.
Christian.
Yeah. Because there's always one worse than him.
That just proves how uninteresting he is. He's not interesting enough to hate, but he's also not interesting enough to marry.
Yeah.
Definitely snoggable.
That's every flaw that he has.
But,
Yeah, I
he's
think so,
not-
yeah.
But in terms of the first film, though, he,
Wait, I might have avoided
I think
him.
you avoided him.
Okay, so the general consensus is that we're avoiding Christian Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the
No,
perfect...
we're snogging him.
Oh, we're snogging him. Okay, all right. Which is the perfect way to segue into us about to watch this movie.
Yeah.
So,
We need to introduce the movie though. And
Oh,
say
yeah.
something about it.
all right. So what happens in this movie? You say something.
Um,
What happened in the last movie?
So the last movie, I have to say, I don't really remember. I blanked it. And me, Tessa, and Ash, and a load of other girls in Sydney went to Chicks of the Flicks and saw it, and all were excruciatingly embarrassed by how bad it was. And also, we all fancied Jamie Dornan until we went to 50 Shades of Grey, and he was disgusting in it. Yeah.
If you did a Snog, marry, avoid, and him as a serial killer and rapist in the fall featured, we would all choose that Jamie Dornan over Christian
Right.
Grey.
Yeah, because
Which
in
has
the fall,
got
Interesting.
multiple issues,
Yeah.
obviously, but is the truth.
in the fall he never spoke, so he's quite a good actor until he
Yeah.
opens his mouth,
Yeah.
and then he's like devastatingly bad. And then she's really good, I thought.
She was really good.
Yeah.
She was much better
Oh,
than
really?
him.
I just think he was embarrassed to be in the first one.
That was his vibe. He was
Yeah,
like,
it
I'm
just-
humiliated
I
that
just-
I'm here.
Yeah.
But he
Let's
should have.
just get
You
on with
shouldn't.
it.
As an actor, you should commit to a role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, I don't really remember it, but they have lots of sex, and then she breaks up with him at the end.
Oh, is there
And
sex in
yeah,
this
the-
movie?
Yeah.
The most important thing to note is that at the end, she walks away. And she's like, no, not into it. So now we get to see what happens.
Is she not into it?
Well, she basically just decided it was pretty degrading and she was above that. And yeah,
Right.
essentially that's what she decided.
Okay, and that leads right into 50 Shades Darker, which we are going to see in
Dun,
5
dun,
minutes.
dun.
You don't have to listen for the 5 minutes. We're just going to stop this now. And we will talk after once we've seen it. Bye!
You got me looking so crazy.
Your boyfriend has a reputation. Do you want to be kept or have respect?
Do you think you're the first woman who's tried to save him? He's changing. It's not what he wants anymore, but it's what he needs.
Looking so crazy in love. Got me looking so crazy in love.
All right, we're just out of 50 Shades Darker. Was it okay? First of all, was it? I haven't seen the first one. Was that darker than the first? No. It was the same amount of. It was lighter. Yeah, because he's kind of softening up, isn't he, Christian Grey? Like, you know, he's got a sweet side. He wants to move away from the whole S&M scene. He wants to be a good boyfriend. That's kind of the plot of this one, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say, first of all, we're going to spoil this, but I would say it doesn't matter because don't go see this movie. That was so boring. I was intensely bored. There was no movie in there. It was just a series of bad sex scenes with some sort of incidental bad dialogue in between. But the dialogue wasn't even bad enough to be funny. There were maybe 2 or 3 lines that were laugh out loud funny, and then the rest was just tedious.
I think more than one person left the cinema, if I'm correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The girls behind us left.
I'll be honest, I thought you left, Jacqui, because your seat was empty for most of the cinema. You just moved.
I left to go to the bathroom because I didn't think I'd miss out on much. And then
Correct.
I did come back in, but I didn't want to get everyone up, so I'd moved seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so you just got somewhere
I
more
didn't-
comfortable
yes.
for 50 Shades of Grey.
But we need to say it was like basically empty as well, and we bought our tickets a week ago in case it was sold out.
Yeah, it was
Not
embarrassing.
really the Richmond crowd's kind of go-to movie, though, I would think.
No. We should also say we are in a noisy pub at the moment, so sorry for the ambient noise. Anna, you're the book expert here because you read all the books. So let's just say let's be candid here. Let's just spoil the third one. Explain to me what's happening with the editor dude. Is he going to kill Christian Grey?
I
Is that how
can't
this
actually
ends?
remember.
Oh, you don't.
No,
it's that
that's not. But I
uninteresting.
do remember how it ends,
Right.
and that's not how it ends.
Okay.
I found that element of the story really shit. I think it's true. The books and the films are true to each other in that they're both shit. Essentially.
So this is a
They're
brilliant
not-
adaptation.
It's a
then.
brilliant
Yeah.
adaptation because it's as unbelievable as a film as it is as a book. But my frustrations from the first film remain in that one thing that the book is quite good at doing, in my opinion, is presenting Christian Grey as quite a shady character. And in this film, he goes from being quite kind of like controlling, you will do this, you will do that, to be like, oh shucks, marry me. He very quickly turns around to being like, yeah, I'll take a bit of vanilla, we don't need to do that anymore, it's fine, I'm totally changed. And like, here I am, I'm all brand new. And even towards the end when she, you know, kind of submits and goes back and is like, take me to your red room.
Which is pretty tame. Can we say that was
Well, the sex is actually virtually exactly the same as it was in the middle when she was just being a bit more playful. They were just in a different, redder location. Like, there was nothing, there was a colour change, but I would say that other than that, for me, very similar. Like, I don't think he's very true to him in the character. She is. But yeah, generally, I suppose my main gripe with the film is there's a complete lack of chemistry between them.
Yeah.
And just generally really shit actors, like considering how big the books were and how big the films could have been, will be.
Bad casting.
Really bad
To be
casting.
fair to the actors, they don't really have a lot to work with. I think she's actually a good actress. We saw her in
chemistry. I don't feel any passion.
This time round and last time round. I mean, last time round I was literally uncomfortable watching them together, and this time I was like, he is very attractive. She's very good looking. Like, I sort of buy it a little bit more this time round.
Chemistry. There's absolutely no chemistry between them.
But I would argue that there's more chemistry than the first movie. The first movie was awful, like the chemistry between them. I think they've just got to know each other a bit better, and it's slightly better than the first.
They got to know each other better. Yeah.
Slightly better.
What an awkward sex scene. Imagine having to film those things. Like, because he's full on, he's like going at her.
Right in there, isn't he?
He's definitely going there.
Like, must be awful for their like wives and husbands to be watching that, right?
Well, also think of the crew. I mean, they've got to do that in front of 20 people in a crew, and you know, that would not be an easy thing to do. In their defence.
They would be getting paid millions of dollars, so I think they're probably okay.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, but at the same time, I think a lot of the criticism that the film, I haven't seen the reviews of this film, but of the first film and of the books, is that actually it's kind of, the books are cast as these kind of BDSM novels, and you know, for the general population, and actually that particular community has said it's absolute bullshit, and actually what's represented in this film is essentially more along the lines of domestic abuse rather than actually being true to those particular fetishes. And I think actually Elle James in her books, she's kind of appealing to those young 18, 19-year-old girls who are trying to kind of find their sexuality and kind of quite like that idea of a boy to look after them. I don't know, I think it's a very immature kind of
fantasy.
Yeah, it's a very immature fantasy that she's
fantasy.
presented. It's a grown-up princess kind of fantasy to me. It's not really, you know, it's like along comes the man with a helicopter and the big plane and...
Yeah, but he bloody crashes the helicopter, doesn't he?
He does bloody crash the helicopter.
In one of the...
We have to say the start of the movie, so they broke up at the end of the last one. It appears within days they're back together in this one.
Yeah.
And then she has this new job that she's really proud of. He buys the company out despite her saying, I don't want you to do this, I want to have my own career. He says, no, I'm buying the company, I won't be your boss, I'll be your boss's boss's boss. And then she's like, okay. Then he says, I'm sending you $24,000 to your bank account, which is like really disturbing. She says, I don't want your money. He insists on putting the money in her bank account. And then she goes to work and her boss is sexually harassing her and, like, you know, tries to rape her. And they're the only portrayal of men in the movie.
Yes.
Like, it's really
Can I say,
very
as
strange.
the only man here, men do not come across well in this movie. Like a very...
No, but I think E.L. James thinks that is a man coming across well.
Really?
Like, to her, I think she thinks that's really sexy.
Jose, the best
Jose, who took photos of her without consent and put them up in an art gallery.
Yeah.
That's illegal. And also,
do you like it?
Then he was like just kind of there at the end.
Why was he at the birthday party?
He was in maybe 6 minutes of that movie.
No, I like
liked when he was in the lift after Christian went missing.
Yeah, after they're all like struggling to deal with the fact that Christian might be dead, and Jose was there with all of Christian's closest family. I was like, in the first movie, you literally hated him, and you haven't been in this movie, which is meant to cover probably a year of her life at all. So, like, what are you doing?
Let's
there?
talk about that helicopter scene, because I think this movie's biggest problem is that there was no conflict through the whole movie. And then it's like
development, no plot, and absolutely no conflict.
no
No
it's like,
resolution.
and hey, let's have a helicopter crash, and then it's resolved in 5 minutes when he literally walks in the door in the next scene, and it's like, hey, it's fine.
And he
I
wasn't
walked
even
back.
injured. I think
No.
it's interesting to watch a movie. It has no conflict because issues that came up that should have brought conflict, like, you know, him domestically abusing her and controlling her, and she says, I need to go on a work trip with my boss, and he responds, the answer is no.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, okay, I'll go to New York with you, not with my boss.
And then,
like,
and then
you-
he literally says something like, oh, I'm so happy we've resolved this. I hate when we argue. Because he won the argument, and then she says, that wasn't an argument. We were just chatting it through. No, you just did exactly what he told you to do. And then, like, meekly went to your boss and said, oh, I can't go to the work thing. I'm
And
so
granted,
sorry.
like,
Why? Because your boyfriend said you couldn't.
But the boss ended up being a sleaze, but before that it was like, of course, if you want to be a book publisher and you're invited to a book expo, yeah, like you go.
He kind of had a point before he tried to rape her.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, listen, ask everyone else what they think.
I think, yeah, okay. What? Anyone else want to chime in? Jill? As you got a mouthful of cheese. Okay, Jacqui. Everyone's eating. Ash.
One thing I really liked about it was Rita Ora. I actually
No, I
really
thought she
liked
was
Rita
terrible.
Ora.
I disagree.
No, of all the bad.
Also, can I just
She was the least bad.
can I just raise like
She's
an
the least
obvious
bad.
question that like Rita Ora is like. I mean, I don't think she is. I think her background is like Albanian or something, but she looks mixed race to me.
I thought they were all adopted. I don't know
Is
the
that
story
the idea?
here.
I didn't think that.
Okay, because I was like, they cannot pass as siblings. They must have to be adopted. I don't know. Anyway, I wasn't into her.
I mean, they're not his real parents.
No, he's adopted.
Yeah. So
Maybe they adopt everyone.
yeah.
But and how bad was that scene with Kim Basinger, where they resolve it?
His face didn't move the entire time, which is an issue in itself. Yeah, that was like meant to be tension and just wasn't in
No.
any way at all.
Get out of my house!
Yeah.
And don't you ever come back and look at my children! And then she drops the handkerchief on the ground.
Yeah. I was
Like
like, they
dropping
have
the mic.
literally probably thousands of people cleaning up after them. Like they're not
Yeah.
really worried about it.
They
Serviette.
do not care.
Yeah.
It's true, in this film there's no character development at all in terms of anybody, like even Anastasia and him, like again, as he goes very quickly from being like, I want this to, no, it's fine, and that's it, but actually there are no other characters at all that come out in this film.
I was
Not
very
the family,
confused. I
not
didn't
him.
understand who anyone was.
No, if you hadn't seen the first film, you would be screwed. Like you couldn't just go and watch this film. No.
I did like that Christian Grey's solution to every problem was to just buy it. I turned to you and I said, when there's a point where one of the females has one of his former submissives has a gun and she's threatening Anna, and I said he's going to buy the gun. I thought he was going to buy the forest he crashed in. He just buys his way out of
That
everything.
girl that played that girl was completely miscast as well. She looks, I mean, that girl is like 19 or something, I'm pretty sure. And like she was meant to be like a woman and she looked like a girl. And there was just like no conflict there, even though there was meant to be. Like there was just like nothing. Everything seemed like it was going to go somewhere and then completely fizzled. And actually, the first 3/4 of the movie, spoiler alert, until he asks Anastasia to marry him,
I thought
it
that was
literally
beautiful.
didn't change from the first movie. Like I was like, literally everything that's happened is what was happening in the first
So
movie.
it's just a complete
Before
retread.
she walked away from him, like basically, in terms of their actual characters, same.
I actually found that scene where with the girl with the gun really degrading. I actually was really uncomfortable with it, the way he treated the girl. He was just kneeling down, like I just thought he was treating her like an animal. I just thought if she was like a dog or a cage. Yeah, I know it's the idea, but I found it really uncomfortable. I was like, that's a bit disgusting. Like, yeah, I just wasn't comfortable.
And then the only recourse for his disturbing actions with that girl is that Anastasia goes off for 3 hours. Yeah. And in those 3 hours, he has the entirety of his staff hunting in the city for her.
Yeah.
Like, she can't go away from him for 3 hours. And then at the end...
And he says, where the fuck were you?
Yeah, where the fuck were you? And she's like, sorry. And then when they get engaged, there's no conversation of, okay, but, you know, she doesn't say, if we're married, I expect that you won't treat me like an object, or, you know, don't buy my company. And she gets a promotion in the movie, and it's like, well, she's obviously only being promoted, me and Anna were saying, because her boyfriend owns the company. Like, that's ridiculous. But you could only assume, like, they would never make a PA who's worked in the company for 1 week be the head editor of fiction.
Yeah, but she
in
had
1
some,
week.
She had some damn good ideas
She
in
had
that meeting.
one idea about young people and targeting young demos, which is all anyone ever talks about these days anyway.
And she was basically like, do you know what we should look at? Authors who are self-publishing on the internet.
Yeah.
What about that market?
Life-changing. Also, the other thing I would like to broach, which Jill and I were quite disgusted by, is like her old apartment that she was moving out of.
Yeah.
It's like maybe the most fabulous apartment I've ever seen in my life, and she's a PA.
Yeah, but she's earning that juicy PA money.
Yeah, but she had a job for 1 week, and before that she worked in a hardware store.
And when she went round to collect her things, she basically, from everything in the apartment, including huge, great big bookshelves and everything else, she picked up her toothbrush. Yeah. And that was about it. Like, everything in the flat was owned by everybody else. The one other girl that lived there. Yeah, that was ludicrous.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like the apartment of kind of like a 56-year-old couple who had like travelled really well and read a lot, and yeah, ludicrous.
Was she living with her flatmate that was going out with Christian's brother?
Implied. I can't remember if that's the same apartment they were living in the previous one.
I'm pretty sure that, yeah, her flatmate's friend, the flatmate, she got together with Christian's brother in the first film, so there's that family connection with them as well. But again,
loosely brought back into this one, completely irrelevant.
Twice for like a couple of minutes.
I was so confused by all that.
Yeah, me too.
So did anyone actually like it?
No.
No, I liked it better than the first one.
And
Why?
how did you like the first one?
Terrible.
So
No, the first one I thought was really funny because they were just really wooden, really bad actors. But I thought they had like slightly progressed in this one. There was a bit. I know you guys are saying there's no story, but at least they got engaged in the end. And you know, there's a wedding, and then you can kind of know the next one that they're building up to, like someone trying to kill Christian. Whereas the first one was just boring. I mean, it didn't come around till the very end of the movie. But like at least we got there in the end. Whereas the first movie, they were just breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, sex. Actually, was there more sex in this movie than the first one? I feel like there was.
I feel like it was like a bit more graphic in this one. I felt like they were a bit more drawn out and like, yeah.
So I think they got bad reviews in the first one for like not having enough sex. So I think they have like not bad reviews, but I think the reviews did say it was tame sex, whereas it was definitely more graphic.
It was boring sex.
This one, yeah.
Oh, because I thought this was very tame for what I was expecting.
It's childish. There was nothing raw. There was nothing interesting about the sex at all. It was all kind of, you know, her lit from the background with the sun dappling in from the windows, and it was all very...
Actually, there was one thing I thought was interesting when they had the sex scene in the shower with their clothes on.
Yeah, for no reason.
Which they went to from the living room, which was where they were.
I actually
So it's
texted
like-
Jill and I was like, wait, are they in the shower or are they on the balcony?
Yeah, I thought it
Because
was
they
like-
are in Seattle, so I was like, maybe it's just they're outside and it's raining.
It's like things were getting interesting in the living room. It's like, no, let's take this to the shower.
Yeah. In this
But And then
palatial
someone would have had to
apartment
go.
we
One of
live
them
in.
would have had to go in and turn on the shower.
Yeah.
And then maybe the other one was undressing, and then the other one was like, no, get in there.
Because he's got loads of servants, so a servant would have turned on the shower.
Oh, you would have been like, Mrs. Jones, put
Yeah.
the shower on.
But what do you
The
think?
sex scene is about to move.
Obviously, everyone was chatting throughout the movie, right? There was kind of a hum of conversation in the auditorium. But me and Anna were saying in every scene it was so weird that she would get naked straight away and lie down, and then he would stand over her, always wearing his trousers. Like he never took his trousers off, which I think was a dominant thing. But then Anna said maybe he didn't want a butt double, so maybe that was it. But it was weird. Her ass is so incredible and deserves like third billing because it's in every scene.
What about that?
I mean, it was really in the spotlight, I would argue. Like, too much.
What
I
about-
get that it's amazing, but also, no. The other scene I'd like to discuss at length is the Christian Grey on the pommel horse gym scene.
Oh, yeah.
That was like maybe the most ridiculous scene I've ever seen in a movie.
We enjoyed
ever.
that, didn't we, Ash?
That was.
That's some laughs.
I'm pretty sure my life slowed down at that point in time. Because it like had a build up too, and then it just kept going, and I was like, why is this scene still going? Like, it was the most outrageous thing I've ever seen.
For anyone who hasn't seen the movie, it was like a Rocky training montage, except he wasn't training for anything, except maybe sex.
He's training for sex.
Yeah.
Do you think Jamie Dornan was really doing that? Because that was incredible. What he was doing on the horse.
I was very going to say yes.
Ash says yes.
The other thing that I thought was weird was like, did they say at some point that he's supposed to be 27?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck off.
It's like Grease all over again.
Honestly, just ridiculous.
Yeah. Sorry, I just remember then what's also not brought in, which I'm pretty sure is in the books, is that he actually tries to control her contraception by arranging for an appointment with a gynecologist. Because I remember saying to Cathy when we were watching it, because he's just stood there shagging her basically with his trousers on, and it's a bit like, pretty sure that's not how it works. And I was like, and they're not using a condom, I would like to point out. But actually, yeah, remembering that there's this whole thing as well where he literally tries to control her body from that perspective as well, and like none of that comes through. So there is quite a lot that's not brought in from the book, which is even scarier.
They had plenty of time to cover, shall I say.
Yeah, maybe if they had had less sex scenes, there would have been more time.
Sex scenes, at one point I just went, oh my god, another sex scene. Like, every time they have a conversation, they have sex after it, and it's the same scene every time.
The book is like that, and I remember a lot of people saying by the time of the second book, or even towards the end of the first book, it's like, oh, sex again. And actually, you just skip through that bit because what you're looking for is the little mini cliffhanger at the end of each chapter. The sex actually becomes very boring. And also, just to put it out there, Anastasia didn't bite her lip very much in this film, which was a big deal in the books. There was no lip biting.
Yeah, big deal in the book. It was so annoying. She bit her, but I think partially in the book she bit her lip so much because E.L. James just can't write anything. So that was how she would get her to react in any scene. Whereas now she seemed to be gasping all the time. Yeah, like she basically was gasping all the time with her mouth hanging open. And it did annoy me that she consistently always has red lipstick applied. When she wakes up in the morning, right after she's had sex, when she's in the shower, when she's at work, when she's like, eating, she's full red lippy.
Also, I have a question for the room. Has anyone ever been to a keychain store and one of them just says yes?
And lights up. Never.
It doesn't make any
But
sense.
I've never been to Seattle, so...
Seattle! Yes!
At those little stalls at the side of the road as well, like it sells newspapers and cigarettes, they wouldn't have a gift box. No.
Oh yeah, it was a nice gift box as well. All right, well, I think we've probably said all we have to say.
So
unless-
everyone thought it was bad, but Jill thought it was better than the first one. Yeah.
Which is still bad.
Yeah, still bad. I have to say, I think, because he was so bad in the first one, I think he has improved as an actor. And his Belfast accent came out less in the first movie. He kept slipping into a Belfast
I'd
accent.
forgotten about that until maybe the last 20 minutes of that movie, and I was like, oh my god, I remember last time cringing because it was so bad.
Yeah.
And this time he didn't break, like it was, didn't really think about his accent.
Yeah.
He was definitely better. I would argue she was maybe a bit worse.
Oh.
She was less interesting, but
And it's interesting because the last movie was directed by Sam Taylor Johnson, who then had a big falling out with E.L. James because E.L. James controls the entire production. And now it's directed by a man. There's definitely... They felt like they were done by different directors, I thought. They did feel like very different movies. But then I, again, can't really remember the first movie to pick out what was different. But I think he was certainly... Either he got a lot of acting lessons or he worked better with this new director because he was certainly not terrible. I don't know. I don't think we've gotten Jacqui's opinion at all. She's been very excited by the food here. Jacqui's jet lagged. We have to say she flew in from Australia this morning to be on this podcast.
Yeah, that's a long way to travel. Thank you very much.
Just for this, yeah. Well, my main point was that there's no character development, no plot, nothing happens, bad sex scenes, bad chemistry between the main characters. And I thought I did very well not to fall asleep, actually.
Oh, well done. So what you're saying is you recommend this movie to anybody who's just travelled in long distance and needs a good sleep.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
All right.
interesting as well, when we went to buy the tickets, the guys at the ticket box said, you know, it's compared to the last time, there's nothing. There's no hype about this movie. No one's buying the tickets.
Yeah.
And when we went last time, there was a definitive frenzy in the cinema, and this time it was just like no fun, no buzz.
I was pretty embarrassed when I had to pick up 8 tickets for 50 Shades of Grey. All right, I think that'll about do us. Thanks everyone for coming out. That was brilliant. Woo! See you in the sequel a year from now.
No.
What's that one called? 50 Shades Darkest?
50 Shades Freed.
Freed.
Yeah.
Oh, God, now we're interested.
Wait, is it F-R-E-E? Free.
F-R-E-D.
Freed. He's finally freed from whatever bullshit he's going through.
And then it's back to vanilla.
And then he goes back to vanilla.
Yeah.
So basically, the story... Actually, you and me were talking about this on the way in, Jacqui. So the theme of this story, or the moral is, if you try hard enough, you can change a man. Yeah.
And their sexuality. You can tame them.
Yeah.
All it takes is to be a sweet, boring girl, and you can tame them.
I was wondering, because there's a point where one of the other submissives asks her, "What's so special about you?" And
she's like, nothing.
She's like, nothing.
And that's true.
We were all thinking
absolutely
the same
nothing.
thing.
Yeah.
To be fair, though,
Why are you here?
She's to kneel down and bow her head. That's what that girl.
She stood
That's
up
true.
to him.
Yeah.
But she is relatively...
She's a bit feistier. If
Feistier.
I wouldn't say feisty to describe her, but she's feistier than somebody that kneels down and bows their head to their feet. Yeah. Like,
She's still in an abusive relationship.
she definitely, I would say so.
yeah. I think that's what's so interesting about this is that it captured the imagination of so many women, and you know, most of us here have read books, at least a book, and we've all seen at least a movie now. And it's so disturbing and it's so shit. But I think the reason women got so excited about it is because really big books and really big movies are rarely aimed at women, and there's never any event cinema for women. And yeah, I just think that's why people get excited. It's a night out more than anything else.
And this is England, and we don't talk about sex.
Yeah.
And this basically gave us an opportunity to read about it and talk about it, and we didn't actually need much more than that.
No.
It didn't have to be good. It just had to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
And we'll leave it there. Any sex will do.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, and thanks for joining us, everyone. Let's drink.